Welcome to Rewind the Tape. Every week, I take a real trade from my live sessions, slow it all the way down, and walk you through exactly what the order flow was showing me at the time I took the trade. We'll do the good trades, the bad trades, all of it. Subscribe if you want a new one each week, and come watch the next one happen with us live. Now, on to the trade. All right, I'm long there. 443 3/4. Stop is going to be 415. That was aggressive by the buyers. That was like the open of that 500 vol candle, and it was like, I'm going the other direction. There's a pop of the high. See if they can carry momentum through there. Oh my God, just do it. Oh my God. I was like, seriously, just like gonna hover right on my stop. Hello everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Rewind the Tape. In this weekly series, I take a trade from the live stream, break it down for you in slower motion. We look at the order flow, we look at the depth of market, and talk about the reasons that I took the trade, the reasons that it worked, and in this case, I'm gonna show you a losing trade that I still would have taken had it showed up again, but just didn't ultimately work out in our favor. So while this is trading, we're just kind of trading at about quarter speed here. NQ is in the midst of an upward rally that happened on Friday's session on OPEX. Earlier in the session, we had the RTH open. The market sold off slowly from here. And then I ended up taking a short trade here. I got one off at the lows. They stopped my runner in profit. And then we started to climb back up into the middle of the range, put in a little consolidation, and now we're in the midst of what was a pretty violent up move that was about 100 to 120 points up. So I'm sitting here kind of watching this rally take place. I want to see if there's a reaction to this delta zone where we had some very aggressive buyers right before the RTH open. But as I speed this up, we'll see that as we get up to this delta zone, that sellers really don't use it as a place to defend at all. You get one tiny little like 10 or 15 point pullback, but it's not enough for me to think that like I want to try to short this again. And so I start to think, I'm like, all right, if we get above this zone and we start to put kind of the opening range high in place, which is this purple line here at the top, I'm thinking that's worth potentially, a nice squeeze up. And because of the volatility, I had switched my position size from 3 micros to 2 micros and changed my target from from 60 points to around 90 points. So I'm looking for a place that I can get 70 to 90-ish points. I want 2 to 1, 3 to 1 for my risk to reward. And this rally just continued straight up through this zone. We'll see them just cut through this price and continue upward. So price continues to come up. We get just short of the RTH high, which I like. We didn't take it out all in one move. I'm looking for an opportunity, and price kind of starts to pull back from here. So kind of setting the stage here, as we're starting to pull back, I'm looking up ahead because I know that price hasn't pulled back far enough. So I'm kind of watching what price is doing, but I'm looking for some kind of pullback into this zone, somewhere to show me an imbalance, some kind of unique market event. As we've talked about before, I try not to buy what I would call buying in space or executing in space, which is like just trying to like catch a move. I feel like I'm chasing. I don't want to do that. So I'm looking for some type of unique or interesting market event to show me that I have edge in one direction or another. So while this is trading, I'm scrolling up on my depth of market and I see, oh, well, look at this. There's a 500 lot order here there's a 100 lot order here at 500. And the market, in my experience, likes to gravitate towards liquidity. This is sitting just a little bit above the RTH high. So I'm thinking, all right, we get a pullback, we get up through the RTH high, we get a little squeeze from the stops there. That fills this big order. And at that point, if I'm long in like the mid 40s, we're already like 60-ish points to target. But at that juncture, I didn't really have anything else to convince me that we were going to get further past 500. right? Like I'm poking past here. I see some 20s, I see some 15s, but like no major size, right? So I'm going to speed this up some more. So price is going to continue to pull back, and I'm watching this pullback happen and still not so sure that I'm going to take a long position, because I have some confidence that maybe price gets up to 500, but that's really only 2 to 1. So if I'm going to take that trade, I'm going to pause this here. If I'm going to take that trade, I really need to probably move my stop to break even when it gets to 2 to 1, just to kind of protect from, you know, a stop out at that point. But I'm still kind of looking for, is there another reason for me to take this trade? And lo and behold, this big order shows up here at 530, 30 points past the 500 order that we're already kind of targeting, or I'm thinking about targeting. And I'm like, oh, now I'm interested in a pullback, because if we break the RTH high and we fill this big order here at 500 and some more stops go off, and then there's a 600 lot order here, I'm thinking this is kind of like double magnets, right? And sometimes in big moves up like this, you'll actually see liquidity start to like stack itself, like big liquidity start to stack itself up ahead of price. And it almost works as kind of a magnet. Sometimes they'll dangle that liquidity a little bit lower. These are not things that are like easy to back test. This comes from hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of hours of watching the depth of market and watching how price reacts to these things. So I'm down here watching price, and I notice that my depth of market, all of my orders are set to sort of scale based on the entire price ladder. So if a really big order shows up, all of my orders like in here get really tiny. And so I noticed that happen, scrolled up, saw the 600 lot order, and I was like, all right, now I'm really looking for a pullback. So now what I'm doing is I'm looking for some type of interesting market event. Now, some of these are things are happening kind of simultaneously. So just bear with me here as we back up to this moment in time. So this is still in part of the upward rally. Let me slow that down just a little bit. Let's not go crazy. All right, so we're in the midst of this upward rally. I'll follow along with price. This is trading at normal speed. And remember, I'm looking for something that shows me, some kind of marker that shows me a pullback, something interesting needs to happen for me to be like, where is my entry gonna be in this crazy vertical up move, right? So here I'm gonna pause the tape and I'm gonna walk it back just a little bit. I want you to watch 445 and a quarter. And I want you to watch the time in sales, and I'm actually going to put this down to 0. It's gonna be pretty noisy for a second, and we're gonna slow it down to half speed. Notice how much volume is going off on 445. It only shows one lot order here, but look how much volume is getting filled here. Tons and tons of single prints. You see the delta growing here. This is an iceberg order. This is a buyer that has moved their order up as price has gone up. It's actually an order for more contracts than show on the depth of market. And they're just sitting there basically filling that until it fully gets filled there. You'll see at the end there were 15 contracts that kind of like pushed it the rest of the way through. So let me walk that back in time just one more time so you can see it clearly. All right, let me go even slower. We'll go to quarter speed. Now watch 445 and a quarter. Price can't go down and delta goes up. So now I have my interesting price moment. I'm gonna put this back up to regular speed and the rally is gonna continue. You know, sellers tried to sell into that price, it didn't work, and buying continues. So now let's go to where this pullback is happening. You're seeing some sell imbalances happening and showing up here with the dashed orange line. Let me put this back to like 5 minimum so we don't have to watch every trade come in. And so I'm looking for this, and now price starts to hold the exact area. So like I'm gonna mark off my area, which is what we do most of the time here on Rewind the Tape. And we'll say this is kind of the area that I'm looking at. Now, I will tell you my mistake here is that we start to hold this area, price slows down, all the things you kind of want to see in a pullback. You know, it can't go lower, it's holding around a price, it's also holding around my quote interesting market event, right? Around this iceberg order, around 445.25. But the thing that I did miss when I was watching this live is there were some bigger buyers stacking down here in the 30s, mid 30s, like this 25 lot order, this 17 order. And I probably, 2020 hindsight, I probably should have let those get filled first because I take my position right around here. And price is ultimately, I'll go ahead and speed this up, price is ultimately going to flush shortly after I got long. But I'm using a 30-point stop. So my stop is, I think I got long around 46 or 47. So my stop was like 17, 16 down in this area here. So we're gonna get long. Let's just say I get long here. Just do this. All right, so let's say I'm long here at 43. That was probably slightly better entry than I had. And I'll put my stop at 17, right? And shortly after I do that, price decided to pull back and fill some of these orders in the mid 20s. And I'm gonna be a little bit offsides here. And honestly, I thought I was just gonna get stopped in one go. So we'll speed this up just a little bit. So price comes down, it doesn't stop me out. And then we're going to basically rally up to the high. And I'm like, okay, I was a little early on the pullback, not my most spectacular entry, but we're now in the money by, 15 to 20 points and looks like we're headed towards the RTH high. And my plan was to take one contract off at 500. That's my first big order that I'm targeting. And, from there, hopefully get up to the 530 target. Unfortunately, price got up to, we'll go back to follow this. Price gets up here. It eats a whole bunch of big orders. On the way up, I was like, this is gonna work. Buyers are taking every big sell order. They're stacking bigger contracts down below here. Nobody has pulled their liquidity, which can happen sometimes. I was still watching. This order still exists. Up a little bit higher. The 600 lot order still exists. I'm like, this is great. This is gonna work, right? And then we get up to the RTH high here, and really nothing spectacular happened. We just kind of ran out of steam. They poked above it, and I expected some kind of little pullback here. I mean, it's the previous, basically the high from the open. And instead we just drifted back down, which isn't the most exciting thing to watch. So we drifted all the way back down. And now I know a lot of people were watching, even I think on the live stream, and thinking well, why didn't you move your stop to break even? Or, why did you stay in this position? Well, I'm looking for minimum of 2 to 1, but really looking for 3 to 1. And that's just because of how often I typically get stopped when I'm trading. I need 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 long term to actually be profitable. So even though I was long in the mid 40s and we got up to the 80s, which is 40 to 50-ish points, right? It's not a small move on the NASDAQ. It's pretty good. I was in profit on 2 contracts. It's not far enough mathematically for me to actually get out of that position. I'm probably even borderline on taking one off at 500. Because ultimately I really should have been waiting to take both of my contracts off up near the 600 lot order. Now, the last thing that I want to show you guys, as the rest of it is not so interesting, but I'll show you why I didn't take the next trade. So price is getting very close to stopping me out at this moment in time. You still have the 500 order, and you still have the 600 order. But watch what happens around the time that I get stopped out here. I'll just speed this up to 5x. They pull this order, and the 600 lot order never appears again. The price, the 130 lot order at 500 stays there, but now my long distance target is gone. that seller is no longer interested. There's nothing to kind of have this gravitational pull up for a long trade. And so I left it alone for the rest of that session. So I hope this was informative. This is a different way of kind of looking at liquidity and looking at the depth of market, but I still stand by the trade that I took. I saw an interesting thing with an iceberg order. We actually got a really nice 40 to 50 point move off of that. And ultimately price just kind of stalled at the RTH high, and our 600 lot magnet decided to take a vacation right around the time that I needed him to be there. So that's it for this week. Come and join us on the live stream. There's 2 other episodes of Rewind the Tape that I think will be very interesting for people who want to learn how to read the depth of market. And if you have any questions, hop into our Discord. There's a link in the description. I'll see you all on the live stream this week. Cheers.